RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Sorry, I'm choking here. Hold on. Damn it. It's live. We'll do it live. No, I just took a drink of my coffee. I almost choked as the show was starting. Wonderful. As I hit the play button. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out. This is unapologetic liberal talk. I didn't want to cough in your ears, so that's why I went around the corner. I don't have a cough button, so it sounds like I'm hocking up a hairball here. All right, guys, how's it going? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. What are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? I have some things on my list. This is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk. Nice to see everybody. I see the chat room filling up. I'm not sure if Jim's going to be able to join us tonight, and I'm very worried about him. He says he has some network issues, some technical problems. So hopefully some of the other moderators, like Redfoot, will show up and keep us safe in the chat room. And if anybody else wants to volunteer, one of the OG Tarabusters, to be a moderator, I can make you a mod if you like. It's no pressure. That's all. But so, all right, listen. We meet here every Friday, and we this is our hanging out, our Friday night hanging out. This show is rebroadcast on Sunday on the Political Voices app. If you don't have that app, you should download it immediately. That's how I listen to all my political, not all, but most of the progressive shows. I listen to Tom Hartman on there, Stephanie Miller in the morning, and all throughout the day, Leslie Marshall. Of course, Randy used to be on there, and listen to Rick Smith. I mean, such great shows. But and this show. Such great shows, and this show as well. Another great show. So, thank you. I know I always like to knock myself. It's not a good habit. But thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News, for everything you do to keep the show going and growing. APS Radio News is a independent media outlet. It's run by a great patriot and friend, Charlie. He also has a radio station that plays the oldies, classic rock and oldies, and another station that plays just classical. So keep that tuned on, all day and throughout your holiday season, knowing that you're supporting another great American who's working to make this world a better place, that's for sure. All right. Where do we begin? Okay, everybody's talking about the Epstein files, and thank you, Elise, right out of the gate for your super chat. I really appreciate that. And all you guys, if you can, become a patron, patreon.com/Tara Devlin, and please subscribe to my Substack. I really got to get that Substack going. Get that Substack, those Substack numbers up, and maybe one day I can be like others and have a daily show at a set time. So, all right. Well, we don't have big billionaire benefactors. The whole show's not e-begging, trust me. I'm just gathering my thoughts as we go, because I have some things on the list. I generally I prep for the show constantly, all day. I'm always prepping, no matter whatever goes on. And, if something happens or I see an article, I'll email it to myself. If I'm, out and about, be like, okay, do this, read this on the show and such. And, but there's so much going on at this right now. And everybody's talking about the Epstein files. And I was looking through them. And frankly, it was giving me a headache. And, and I was watching Hal Sparks earlier a little bit because he was going through them. If you haven't seen what they did, so Pam Bondi is, I don't know how she lives with herself. I don't know how she looks at herself in the mirror, to tell you the truth. Because she's not an idiot, the woman, but she is evil. How else do you describe somebody that is protecting pedophiles, right? She knows what she's doing. Oh, great! I just got a text from Andrea from Hal Sparks. Yay! She says they're gonna raid. They will be raiding us soon. So that's good news. And okay, so but as far as Pam Bondi, so if you haven't seen the Epstein files released, they dumped it out on a website today. So and now they're saying it's not all of the files. It's what they could get done. This is a work in progress. Well, you did have a deadline of today. It's basically just a dump of images, a lot of redactions, and they set up this website in such a manner, and it's no doubt that they did it deliberately. Every other page that you click on, you have to click another button that says I am not a robot. So they're just putting up tedious roadblocks, just like little tedious buttons here and there. So you have to dig deeper and deeper, and I believe it's because they want to frustrate people, and they'll just go on to doing something else. Because nobody sets up a website like that. No, not even the DOJ would set up a website that would have you press basically give yourself permission every window you want to open. You have to tell it you're not a robot. Every window if you want to click on one PDF and go to another, you have to do it again. You have to continuously give yourself permission. It's ridiculous. And of course they did it to frustrate and distract people from getting really into what's in the files. And there's a lot of redactions too. And if you saw what Hal was doing earlier, going through a bunch of the pictures, and there's pictures of girls, young girls, that have their faces blocked out with a big black block. So, but you could see their bodies. You could see that they're in a bra or they're, scantily clad. But then there's other pictures that are completely redacted, where you can't see anything, where you can't make out a single pixel. So why would you do that? It's just a box. And speculation would say that that's Trump. These are pictures of Trump, and they're completely redacted because they don't want you to see. They don't want you to see his tie, his body. They don't want you to speculate who it is. But we could see the bodies of scantily clad underage girls, but we can't see Traitor Trump. They don't want anybody to know who's in those pictures. They're not redacting the victims. Not at all. They're redacting the perpetrators. And the release of the Epstein files was supposed to be based on without concern or consideration for anyone who might be embarrassed or politically disadvantaged by their release. So, please, I don't understand how low we have to go here, because this is absolutely I don't even know. I'm trying to say repugnant, revulsive. It makes me want to puke. How's that? That we live in a country where the people in the halls of power are more concerned about protecting powerful pedophiles than they are with working for a functioning society that works for all. And that functioning society that works for all would include the rule of law. It would include the agreement. We all agree that being a pedo is a bad thing, that raping people, raping girls, abusing children is bad. We should all pretty much agree on that. At least Republicans agree in theory, in public, but they're working overtime. This evil cult is working to protect powerful pedophiles while negating the victims. And we're all the victims at this point because we're being victimized by this filthy maladministration. And it's, one day this will pass. This too shall pass. But what are we going to do? Will we recover from it in a sane and healthy way? Hold on. Will we learn the lessons? Will we get our country back and make it actually work for people? Will we reach our limit in this repugnant timeline that we're in? And we're all feeling it. And I was on the Anti-Fascist Book Club earlier, and we were discussing. A friend of mine had come over, and she's a very nice person, very sweet person, lovely, happy person, and always helpful and happy and considerate and generous. And she was saying that for some reason she's walking around in feeling rage and anger, and she was almost taken aback by it because she's like, that's not me. I'm not this person. I'm not an angry person. Why am I so angry? What's going on? But I believe it is because of the time we're living in, where there's nothing but ugliness all around, and the people who are the worst people are winning. They really are. And there doesn't seem to be any accountability. There hasn't been accountability. Traitor Trump should be in jail right now, somewhere in an alternate timeline where the United States is functioning for more than just the 1%. That baboon is in a jail cell for all of the pick a crime, the cornucopia of crimes, for sending a mob to storm the Capitol to try to overturn the peaceful transfer of power. That alone. For calling up the Secretary of State of Georgia and saying, I need you to find me the votes to win. For stealing classified documents, for any of these crimes. He should be in jail. And instead, he's in the halls of power, making this country worse for everybody. And, including himself, but he's a sociopath, so there's something very sick and damaged about him. And we know it. I mean, it goes deeper than just God. He really is probably the worst, most destructive thing that we've ever had to contend with as a species. One giant baboon, waste of a baboon. I mean, I'd rather have a baboon. Destroying this country and the planet. I mean, at a certain point, it becomes about us. How much longer are we going to take it? How much longer? It's not about him anymore, He is what he is. It has to become about who we are. We know there's no bottom. That post he put up about Rob Reiner says it all. There's no redeeming qualities to this person. And to call him a person is I'm really being generous. There's nothing... There's just, anyway, okay, the whole show is not going to be me processing this, because that's what it feels like. A lot of times, I'm just processing, what the hell? You know what it is, and because I'm trying also to come to terms with the people who still support him. I mean, what is wrong with you? Okay, well, like for example, I had this is what I have on the list for tonight's show. A few things. I'm not really going to go into the Epstein files. I'm going to leave that to people like Ellie Leonard, who is an expert. And if you're not following Ellie's Substack, you should be at Red Pencil Script over at Substack, because she's doing some amazing work. And that's where I'm getting my info from for Ellie. But there's other things going on. So, like, I mean, knowing that the Epstein files were being released, he gave this rambling speech to the nation. I mean, there's a few other things. And what I have on the list here. Where is it? Where's my list? Where's my list? Hold on. Well, the plaques. Okay, we don't have to go through the plaques, but one of the things I was noticing, these plaques that this piece of dirt put up. What a disgusting person. What a juvenile monstrosity. No offense to juveniles, because juveniles grow up. They mature. They stop behaving like this. Come on, people. Don't we deserve better? Doesn't America deserve better than this? And everyone who voted for that thing, you're all as bad as he is. There's no excuse for you. You should be ashamed. And why I'm bringing this up too is that when I was, of course, the timeline that we're living in is such that when you see the news at this point, or anything that he does, especially because there is no bottom in the maggot sewer, you got to say, is this for real? Is this a joke? Did somebody make this up? And no, it's not. It's absolutely real. And the plaques that he put up there are all, of course, how he's the center of the universe, how he's saved America from death. We were dead before this con man, this tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator, pedo Putin bitch squatted in the White House. We were just so dead. Well, speak for yourself, Traitor Trump. There goes another projection. Because all you got to do is look in that monster's eyes and you could see there's no life in them. He's dead. He's dead inside. That's why he has to shove things in there, in that gaping black hole of need and greed he calls a personality. And nobody likes him. He doesn't know what love is. Forget love. Nobody likes him. Exactly. No one. His own kids. No one. Everyone's there. They hang around him like flies on shit. For a transactional relationship. Because they're all as repugnant and hollow and empty and dead as he is. Dead. See, that's the problem with maggots. The America as promised is just too decent for them. And they have to tear it down to be just like them. And when I was on Twitter, and I suggest that you go there sparingly, okay? Because Twitter really is a cesspool. It's a Russian bot hole. There's no standards anymore. There's, it's an aggregate, an amplifier of hate. That's it. It's where people go to misgender someone, or, call somebody the N-word, or, well, that's what Elon Musk's and the Russian bots call freedom. Maggots like I've been saying for years, they think they're not free unless they can call somebody the N-word. Hold on. So I was on this, this Russian bot hole. That's what it is. That's Twitter. And let me see if I can find some of them. The MAGAts are thoroughly enjoying Traitor Trump's plaques, right? It's epic. No one trolls like Trump, said one. I had one. I took a screen grab of one. No one trolls like Trump. And as I was going through them, I was thinking, we don't, okay, I can't even talk. Is that why you vote for a president? No one trolls like Trump. We didn't vote for this. I never voted for him at all. I would never. I have too much love for my country and self-respect to vote for a serial bankrupt con man, a rapist who's all over the Epstein files, a pig. No offense to pigs. We got to come up with some more different words for him, because to call him a pig is to honor him. But no one trolls like him. I mean, that's why you voted for this monstrosity? See, there you go. And this is why the corporate media has failed us as a country. And if we are going to get this country back and it's going to function for more than just the 1%, something has to be done about the media. We have to, fix it and make it, because it's a pillar of democracy. The media is the only profession enshrined in the Constitution as being necessary for democracy. Not the media, the press. But they normalize Traitor Trump all the time. And they normalize it by not pointing it out, by not putting it in context for the American people, like I'm doing now. That, and instead of shaming the MAGAts, because that's what they have to do. They're so cautious about how they treat the Trump voters, when it's, because for years we've heard how they voted for Trump because they're economically insecure, or they did it because of their economics. It wasn't economics, though, as they dug deeper and they did studies on what motivated the MAGAts to go to the polls and vote for this monstrosity. It was racism, hate. He hates the same people, and it's really alarming that when you think about it, it is really alarming that there are millions of Americans who are this filled with hate, this stupid, and it is hate. A lot of it is just fear, good old-fashioned fear, but they're just not that smart. And they're easily manipulated by propaganda that sell. That's why Trump's like, what is he doing when shit's going lower? People are going lower and lower on the ladder. Unemployment is worse than it was last time he was in office in the pandemic, right? The economic insecurity, upward mobility is worse. That's all Trump does. That's all Republicans do, is make things worse. They increase the gap between rich and poor. They make, and then they gaslight about it, and they point to others, right? It's transgender for everyone. Instead of, nobody, whoever thought about trans? I'm talking about the MAGAts. They never thought about trans people until they were told to. So propaganda works, and they know that. That's why Traitor Trump is so, so triggered by late night comedians, and why they're trying to become a monopoly, have all these right wingers owning every media outlet because they want to control the message. Why every authoritarian takeover has to include a complete takeover of the press and the and the media. And I got a story for you too, along those lines. Hold on a second. Maybe we should do it now since we're talking about it. Hold on. I'm just trying to find, where the heck is it? Oh, here it is. Sorry, guys. I'm having a technical thing. Here we go. Yeah. All right, here's the tweet. One of the tweets. This guy has, like 500,000 followers. This has to be President Trump's greatest troll of all time because it's driving Michelle and Barack Obama batshit crazy that there's nothing they can do about it. And he's talking about the plaque that Traitor Trump put up under, in his hall of presidential fame, this little juvenile dirtbag. And talk about projection, but the way that he puts it, this has to be President Trump's greatest troll of all time, because that's what you want a president to do, right? Is to troll other presidents. And he's not trolling the presidents. This is the other thing. This is why he's such a divisive piece of dirt. And he brings nothing to humanity. And shame on everyone who voted for him. Because he's not bothering Obama. He's insulting the majority of the American people that voted for Obama in 2 landslide elections. That's what he's doing, because he's a dirtbag who knows he's not fit to lick Obama's taint. He knows that. He knows he will never be as beloved. He will never be as capable. He knows that. And it screams weakness. He's a weak little whiny bitch. And so, but his supporters, there's no excuse for them either. They should all be ashamed. I know it's driving Michelle and Barack Obama batshit crazy. And why would you want to do that? Vince Langman? Why? What's wrong with you? Because I tell you what I do on my show, I don't sit around saying, this is going to drive Trump crazy. This is going to drive Vince Longman crazy. I can't wait to post this. This is going to drive George W. Bush crazy or some other stupid Republican crazy. I don't give a shit. We're too busy trying to ensure that people don't needlessly die without health care. That's what we're focused on, including the likes of Vince Longman and the rest of the MAGAts. We're trying to make sure that they have living wages. They have retirement security. They can take a vacation every now and then. They can take a sick leave. That they have freedom. That they have the freedom to be a human being in the greatest country on earth. That they get paid a living wage in decent working conditions and have a retirement security. That they get the freedom that so many fought, bled, and died to entrust to us. The freedom that a lot of our ancestors never enjoyed because they were fighting, bleeding, and dying, so we would have it better. But there's Vince Longman, motivated by, it's the greatest troll, driving them batshit crazy, when they're not giving that monstrosity, the juvenile antics of that little boy, a second thought. Like that matters? Like that drives them crazy? What drives them crazy is the fact that people like Vince Longman vote for someone who hates America so much that Vince Longman and the MAGAts don't have a concept of what being a patriot means. That they're too sick and small and they just don't understand what America's all about. what it's supposed to be about. In fact, everything that is the promises of America, of e pluribus unum, pledging your life, fortune, and sacred honor to each other, so we can have freedom. You know, we could rule ourselves. We don't need a daddy or a king. We get to, adult and rule ourselves in a country, a modern country that believes in science and in progress. So much so that people actually want to come here and live here and live the American dream. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. With this monster show, you see everything good about America. These MAGAts can't stand it. It's driving me crazy. I don't give a shit. Call me any stupid name you want. What drives me crazy is what drives Barack and Michelle crazy. That we love America. And you are destroying it. Maggots are destroying it because they're so sick. There's something fundamentally broken in all of them. And that says it right all right there. And this is why we have to have, when we get this country back, there has to be, and I have to write an article about this. I can't even pronounce it properly. I can't do Latin. Damnatia Memoria. How do you pronounce that? I read a lot. Let me see. Sometimes it's hard. Words are hard. Damnatia. It's a Latin thing. Damnatia. I wish Roxanne Kincaid was here right now. I'm just writing it down because it's easier when I speak it. Yes, damnatio memoriae, meaning the condemnation of memory. That's what it literally translates to, but it refers to a Roman practice where the state or the political authorities removed a disgraced figure from history. So a tyrant, a traitor, a really bad emperor like Commodus. So that's what will happen. So Traitor Trump can put his name on the Kennedy Center. They can blow smoke up his ass. He can unfurl banners to himself. He can build himself a ballroom and an arc de triomphe. But it's all coming down. And we have a duty. We have a patriotic duty to do it. And the fact that he wants to put his name on everything like that, it's like everything else the MAGAts do. It speaks volumes to the fact that they are confused about America. They don't really get what this America thingy is all about. And that they're not fit, So that's why we have to reclaim not only patriotism, we got to get this country back on track. We're going to have to get the media to, we'll have to shame them into putting things in context, right? Instead of just saying, hey, MAGAts, are you happy with your vote? This is what they love to do. Check in on the MAGAts. Are you happy with your vote? Say, what's wrong with you? Why would you vote for somebody who's a rapist? You saw that he's a rapist, a con man. He declared more losses than every other single American taxpayer. You saw the fact that he sent a mob to defecate and urinate in the halls of the Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power. He stole classified documents. He's a liar. The only question is, what's wrong with you? So, we have our work cut out for us for sure. So, but we can't do this in a tepid and timid manner. We're going to have to do it unapologetically. That's why we say, I talk about unapologetic liberal media. It's time for liberals to stop being apologetic about being right, being on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. And I don't know about you, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the fact that the Democrats in leadership care more about rehabbing the Republicans than the Republicans themselves care. The Republican Party is a lost cause. They are done. They are a corpse. You want to see something dead? It's them. They got nothing to offer. They never do. Every time they get in power, we've done it before. You know, they run these red states into the ground. So don't be timid or about, burning them, metaphorically. They suck. They can't. And the other thing is that there's many things wrong with this country. With the problem is, of course, the MAGAts, when they were, teabaggers, no matter whatever name they're called by, we'll just call them MAGAts for now, because they're all MAGAts at this point. That they go after the pillars of democracy, like the Department of Education. Government schools. But what's the democratic response to that? Can anybody in the chat raise your hand if you know what the democratic response to the MAGAts, the Republicans calling, denigrating our public education system as government schools? No? Nobody? Because they have none. There is no response to it. The Democratic Party lets this shit lay in the middle of the floor with absolutely no response. They just let the Republicans define the conversation, lead the conversation. That's why the Democrats are always on the back foot. How about, we stop that and start fighting back? And that's how you fight back. You frame the conversation. You educate the American people. You can't assume that people know things that they just know Traitor Trump is a liar. Of course he's a liar. That's why he lies all the time. That's why he started from the beginning devaluing truth. His primetime speech to the nation, that in itself is an insult and shows us the failure of the corporate media. Because the corporate media, 2 times, when Biden was president, he wanted to give a speech to the nation, and they said no. Same thing with Obama. They told him no. They didn't tell Trump no. The speeches to the nation are supposed to be for some monumental event, not because this pedo's are getting afraid that his name is in the Epstein files and he needs another distraction from the fact that he sucks, that he destroys everything he touches. So he needs the primetime speech to the nation to spread more lies. It's an absolute disgrace. So what did he say? When I took office, inflation was the highest in 48 years. That's not true. Zero truth. He didn't say a single true thing in that speech. Inflation has stopped. Wages are up. Prices are coming down. Our country is strong. No, it's not. The American people are, not the people, but the country is reviled around the world. We're a laughing stock. People aren't coming here anymore. Why would they? You think they want to be kidnapped off the street? We're a cautionary tale. Now, don't let this happen to you. Don't put a baboon in the halls of power. Don't put this tax cheating con man. If you cheat on your taxes, that's why I always call him the tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator con man. That in itself, he says that makes me smart. No, that makes him a parasite. And I know during the debate, Hillary Clinton tried to explain, well, that means every tax that you dodged, that's body armor for the troops, that's payment for the troops, and they got to put it in the troops. But what about the rest of us? What about the functioning society? You're a parasite that is getting a free ride off everyone's back. And, don't give me this shit about job creators. They're not job creators. There's no supply side economics is a ruse. It is just like George H.W. Bush said, it's voodoo economics. So give me a break. There's enough, because we got to get to the point where we understand, like, what is the meaning of life here? What is the meaning of an economy? At this point, people need to wake up. Is it to make a few people rich? Because that's what they're trying to do. That's what they want you to think and believe. And a lot of people believe it. Especially on the MAGAt side. They think that, I guess if they beg hard enough, the trickling will begin any day now. Maybe another 30 years. But they don't seem to understand that they're not free. I mean, you're not free if you can't go to a doctor if you're sick. You're not free if you can't take a day off. You're not free if you can't simply enjoy this blip of time that we're all sharing because the game is rigged against you. There's enough for everyone's need, not for everyone's greed, right? But the corporations are doing wonderful. They're doing record profits. There is no reason why the CEO needs to earn 400 times more than the lowest paid worker. But we allow it. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. It really is. And I mean, there's just such stupidity in this country. And that's because of government schools, right? They've denigrated education. They don't want us to have a common story. Then one of the things that Obama tried to do in his administration in the first many years ago in his first administration, they tried to standardize testing and things like that, and not just testing, but standardize a set of things that kids had to learn. And of course, the MAGAts at the time went ballistic. Oh, Obama's indoctrinating us. He thinks he's a king. Well, no, he's trying to make us young people know a certain common set of facts. That's what you have to know. I mean, as a community, as a country, we have to agree on certain things. We have to agree on history. We have to agree on what this country was founded as. You have to agree on what kind of government this is. And, otherwise you're going in all different directions. But that's the way the MAGAts want it. That's why they rewrite history. Now we keep hearing, America was founded on Judeo-Christian values, and they only throw in the Judeo to make them sound like they're diverse, like they care about diversity, when we know how DEI is the devil, according to them. Even though the human race, there's no different races. That's a distinction without a difference. Just like gender is a construct, so is race. There's humanity. But, they want us all stupid as maggots. Stupid and small and scared. They're just, okay. So I saw this. I just wanted to show this. I saw this tweet that kind of sums up a lot. Where is it? This is a real thing. Somebody posted, we need to return the ownership of these huge corporations to everyday folks. the only people who do the work. It's the only way to stop their socialist agenda. That's a maggot for you. You mean socialism is the only way to stop the socialist agenda? You see what I'm talking about? This is why a con man can step in there and say, only I can fix it, or, you know, I'm going to give everyone health care. It's going to be free. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be the best. And it's not going to cost anybody anything. It's going to be the easiest deal. They all run on socialism. They're going to say that's why they say, oh, well, if it weren't for all these immigrants, you'd have better health care. You'd have Medicaid. Your Medicare would be great. Your Social Security would be enough to live on and then some. It's a ruse. But anyway, yes. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a group of people, the MAGAts, the Republicans, that are sick. They're sick in the soul. You know, I mean, I would like you to prove me wrong, because I would like to be wrong. It sucks to be right, literally and figuratively, but they're not well. How can you think, like this tweet, for example, how is this okay? This is just one of many. When you go on Twitter, it's hard to tell, though, as I was saying, you know, because it's like there's so many bots, and it's just a cesspool without any kind of standards. And it's, you know, like Sleepy Joe Biden, he writes, was by far the worst president. This is on a plaque he puts up in the Oval Office. I mean, in the hallway. It's really unreal. It's really unreal. It's almost, I mean, it's not really unreal. It's embarrassing. As an American, doesn't it make you, beyond being enraged, it makes me feel, I'm enraged, well, you know, when I process the feelings about it, the enraged feeling I get is because I know we deserve better. It's like, you know, we do have some respect. We have self-respect. We have a country that has so much possibility, and we deserve better than this. And, you know, it's like being abused. And I don't really like being abused. I don't take abuse. You know, I don't do it. It's a deal breaker. But because we lost the election for a myriad of reasons, we have to be abused now. And and the thing is, this is what's so baffling too, and I guess this is why the Traitor Trump is losing so much support. He really is. I mean, his approval ratings are lower than they have ever been before. And it's not even 1 year in. So he's really scraping the bottom of the barrel. And that is, I guess, heartening in a way. It would be worse if he had any approval. I mean, that's why I'm always like, even if they say, oh, he has like 31% approval, I'm like, what? Who is that 31%? 31% in regard to the economy. That's why he's putting out all these, he just put out an ad today, too, I guess to distract from the Epstein files, about how we were dead. We were dead. Now we're the hottest country on earth. If only. How can you be? How? And just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. This is what is so infuriating. It's like Trump Network vitamins, or, we might as well all be Trump University suckers at this point. So in his lie-riddled speech, he says, of course, we're on the verge of an economic boom like the world has never seen. Like no one's ever seen. Yeah, no one's ever seen this level of bullshit before. No one's ever seen the shamelessness. No one's ever seen the depravity. The bottomless depravity. Because I don't want to know the answer to the question, how much lower can he go? When I thought I've seen it all. We all thought we saw it all. But then he came out with the Rob Reiner post. Thank you, Brandon, on the chat. Your panel was good today, Tara. Yeah, that's the Anti-Fascist Book Club every Friday. Except this coming Friday, we're taking the day off for after Christmas. But oh, brother. Yeah. So just a few more lies in the speech, blaming the current inflation on Joe Biden and Democrats, of course, when he's in complete control. And of course, when he was given the keys back to the Oval Office, in spite of the fact that he's a traitor who stole classified documents, tried to overthrow the peaceful transfer of power, who is a tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator piece of dirt. The inflation was 3%, like it is right now. So he's done nothing to improve anyone, to improve anyone's lives but the lives of the billionaires. When he says the economy, what does he grade himself? He gives himself an A+++++, like a little baby bitch. Yeah, he's got an A++++ economy in regard to the billionaires. Yeah. Everyone else, though, is falling lower and lower on the ladder. And now it's only going to get worse. And I love how, and this is the thing, okay? I know we have to give credit where credit's due. When they, people like, oh, well, don't beat up on the Democrats. I'm not beating them up. I'm trying to push the Democrats into, following my lead a little bit here. Because when Traitor Trump's like, and this is Republicans across the board say that it was Democrats. You broke health care. You see what's going on here. Talk about gaslighting. Their concepts of a plan are the same old policies that they've always had, which are horrible. Their ideas for healthcare are the same ideas that they had for generations. Health savings accounts, let insurance be sold across state line, like all the same bullshit that does nothing to actually address the problem, but makes it worse. Makes risk pools. That's another thing. They would put all the sick people in one big giant, very expensive plan, as if being sick is just a constant state of being. Being sick and being healthy is a constant in MAGAt world. In Republican, that's why Republican policies suck. They don't actually help anybody except the people who are making profits. It's just another scam to separate you from your money. They're nothing but parasites. And it's time to call them out for it. Because that's all they're doing, is trying to make it easier for a few to suck profit from you and me. Then it's not about your health. If it was about your health, we'd already have universal health care. They wouldn't have stood in the way of a public option. So that's what's less expensive and covers everybody. You don't need a stupid risk pool, because that's what I mean. They and this is what's so annoying, because they're like, oh, you get the health care you need, get the health care, freedom, get the health care your family needs. How do you know what happens in your family? That's the nature of health. You're not, gee, I just won't get cancer this year. It's not up to you, is it? Yeah, I'll get my cancer coverage next year because I'm going to put my cancer down. And this year, I just got too much to do to get cancer. It doesn't work like that. You can be completely healthy 1 minute and everything can change. That's why the only thing that actually truly works for all is universal health care. Everybody in, nobody out. That should be the only American value, and what Democrats need to run on all over. Everyone in, nobody out. And explain to the American people, this is about freedom. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about respecting and honoring the sacrifices of those who came before us, who fought, bled, and died for a government that worked for everybody. Yeah, and the founders and all their flaws and hypocrisies gave us a progressive blueprint from which to build upon. But for, if only wishes were policies, right? Because Traitor Trump, and listening to him, he sounds like FDR. Except for all the racism, too. He added in all the racism. And let's see. He said that real wages are surging for American workers, except that, no, inflation eroded these gains. And lower income households, in particular, are continuing to not to be able to pay rent, food, utilities. But he's not listening to people like that. He only listens to the rich people, like his Nutlick said, Howard Nutlick, that that all of the Trump visas, you give them $1 million and you get a visa, because this is how we operate now. That these are good people. That's what he said. It's only the best people because they have $1 million, which is a very disturbed point of view, considering that, these are not good people. These are well-heeled. All of the MAGAts who surround Traitor Trump, they're not good people. They may be rich people, but that's not synonymous with good, clearly. They're protecting a pedophile. These are people that are they redacted the Epstein files not to protect the victims, but to protect the perpetrators. So, exactly. And it's, it's about, oh wait, are we getting raided? What's going on? I heard somebody say, saw it. Raid. All right. Well, today in the, a good thing happened. Here's some good news. The traitor statue, the statue to the traitor Robert E. Lee was removed from the House, and that's good. That's a good thing. And replaced with a statue of a black young woman who fought against segregation. Barbara Rose Johns, the Virginia teenager who in 1951 held a student-led strike against segregated schools. I think I'm getting rated on Discord, but we're not getting rated on YouTube, or maybe both. Raid. I see a bunch on Discord, which is, I am being rated, am I? Okay. Thank you guys. Welcome, and thank you, Elise, for your super chat earlier, and thank you, Kathy, for your super chat. Wow, thank you. Recovery from surgery with Tara support fee. Thank you. I hope your recovery is going well. Nice, nice. Thank you, guys. All right. Thank you, Hal. I can't wait to get back on Hal's show. Hi, Hal. He's still getting up to speed after coming back. His father passed away, you guys know. It's been a tough time. So, okay, but what happened today which is this is a good thing. So and I was surprised, actually. I saw the unveiling and Mike Johnson and the Republicans were there. They actually weren't fighting it, which I found a little bit odd. Because what about DEI? And I'm sure Traitor Trump would have something to say. He probably doesn't know about it. They're probably not telling him that the statue of Robert E. Lee was removed from the Capitol and replaced with this 8-foot bronze statue of a 16-year-old young African-American woman who held a protest, who was here's the story. She was instrumental in really triggering what became one of the more well-known cases in American history, Brown versus Board of Education. Let me see, hold on. Let me see. Yes, Lee's statue was, so every state gets 2 statues. They get to erect 2 statues in the Capitol to represent their state. And one of the statues that represented Virginia was Robert E. Lee, a traitor. So Lee's statue was moved to a Virginia museum, which is fine, which is where it should be. It shouldn't be in the well of the Capitol, right? I mean, we shouldn't be honoring traitors. And you know what I mean? That's just so, it's just so, like everything else right-wingers do, it sets us up for failure. What country puts up statues to traitors, to people who took up arms against its constitution, its country, its constitution? It killed, he sent Americans to their cold early grave, this person. This traitor, who immediately, he was educated at West Point. He took an oath to the Constitution and immediately violated his oath. He dishonored himself. He's a traitor. You don't he should have, and this is the problem, okay? And we've talked about it before, and I've written an article about it over at the Political Voices Substack about how we have been entirely too lenient with conservatives throughout our history. This is why, our history, in the history of the United States, we've had so many opportunities. We've been at this crossroads where we've had a choice. And in too many circumstances, we've chosen to be far too lenient with conservatives. The conservatives who've tried to hold us back and and not just hold us back, but overthrow our system of government, our progressive government. Because, and let's not forget, there's nothing more progressive than overthrowing a king and an aristocracy that ruled Western civilization for 2,000 years. The United States is a progressive experiment. It's not conservative, but throughout our history, we've come up against conservatives and conservatism, and we've made compromises. Too many compromises to conservatives. And it's really, you're compromising with evil. The 3/5 compromise, the Missouri compromise, compromise of 18, whatever it was, that gave, what was that? Well, it pulled the troops out of the South. pulled the troops out and ended Reconstruction. And the problem is now, we're living in the aftermath of that still. We still haven't gone through the growing pains of Reconstruction. We haven't. So, these are things we have to do. And this is why we have a Traitor Trump now. It's like, it goes right from Grant giving Lee, he didn't pardon Lee, but he let him go home. When Lee surrendered at Appomattox, Grant said, okay, go home and sin no more. That's all that had to happen. All the traitors who took up arms against the United States, all they had to do was say, they had to sign a loyalty oath, and all was forgiven. The blood wasn't even dry on the ground yet. And, this is why we're in this boat. Then you get to Ford pardoning Nixon. And, then you get to Merrick the Meek not doing a damn thing about Traitor Trump. Traitor Trump should have been in handcuffs on January 7th, okay? That is the truth. And, Jim, what's his name? Jim Jordan and Jack Smith had, Jim Jordan had Jack Smith testify yesterday behind closed doors. And Jack Smith wanted to testify in public. But what we hear from this meeting was that Jack Smith said that he had Traitor Trump dead to rights. That he had all of the evidence to convict him on the fact that he's a goddamn traitor who tried to overthrow an election, and he also stole classified documents. And yeah, exactly. He should never hold office. He should not be, and this is the problem, because the founders, yes, I guess in a lot of ways they had a failure of imagination. They probably didn't imagine that they imagined that there would be a wannabe dictator. They didn't imagine an entire political party being abdicating their co-equal branch of government role and enabling the wannabe dictator, the entire party. They probably didn't imagine that, and they certainly, I guess, didn't imagine the judiciary giving this wannabe dictator more and more power. They couldn't imagine, I'm sure, at the time, the unitary executive bullshit theory, which is nothing but another way of saying king. What's a unitary executive? Unitary means all alone, right? By myself. I don't need anybody. That's not co-equal. That's not a check and balance. So, I mean, they've been trying to overthrow America since the founders declared their independence. No doubt. That is the truth. So, and we definitely, I can't talk. We have a lot of work to do. So, yeah, where is this? Hold on. What was I was just looking something up and I got distracted. And now I can't remember what I was looking up. So I guess I'll just move on. And yeah, so the statue, Barbara Rose Johns, let's see. Very nice statue. I mean, what a dirtbag that effing con man is, you know? Barack Hussein Obama was the most divisive president. Did he say something like that in American history? You know what he's divisive? This is what we had to endure when Obama was in office, right? Oh, he's so divisive. He's divisive to the racists because they didn't like a black guy in office. That's why they call him divisive. I wish Obama was divisive. I effing wish. When Obama took office, I was so happy. And I had so much hope. And I believe that Obama, yeah, like the poster, I had hope. And I believe that Obama, was going to be, I thought at least, I hoped he was going to be the next FDR. Okay. And of course, boy, was I wrong. And when he won, I sent him a copy of Traitor to his Class, the book on FDR. And of course, because that was just me hoping that he would be FDR. But I did, unfortunately, he was a traitor to his class, but it wasn't the elites. It was the middle class, you know? Because really, Obama was a really good Republican president. He was probably the best Republican president we've had. He was not a Democrat. He wasn't a liberal. And we know there's a story where Bernie says Bernie went to Obama at one point. I think it was probably during the healthcare thing. And he said and you know, he's discussing, I guess, who knows? I don't remember exactly what they were discussing. But Bernie said that Obama said, you know, the problem with you liberals is, and just the way he phrased it says it all. He's not a liberal. He was never a liberal. He's, yes, very pragmatic, I suppose. And that's why he was incredibly frustrating to me as somebody that wanted him to be a progressive. He was a good Republican president. He spit the same policies back at the Republicans. And of course, he really did think that he could get the Republicans to work with him. And in the second term, he finally came to his senses and realized that that was not going to happen. You know, they had already vowed on the night of his election to engage in what became known as the caucus room conspiracy. So, yeah, and that's why we have Obamacare, which is the Republican health care plan, and we know this. So, and it sucks because it's the Republican health care plan. And thank you, John D., for your super chat. Says, thank you, Tara, for fighting the good fight. Thank you, John. Thank you, John, for being here with me at the barricades. So, okay, so when I was looking at this Barbara Rose Johns statue earlier, and I was watching the unveiling. It's really bad. I should stop doing things like that, because what happens is when I start looking at the comments, and then, you know, sometimes it's encouraging because there's normal people in the comments. Like, I was watching some speech from, it wasn't the primetime speech, it was a Trump thing, and it was on the official White House website. Hold on a second. This is Tara Devlin. Hello. Subscribe to my Substack, please. Get the word out. Okay. So I was watching something on the White House, official White House website, and it was rather encouraging because all of the comments, they didn't have comments turned off. It was on the Facebook page, and it was all negative. It was not like when you go on Twitter, because it's bot infested and it's out of control. Everything is MAGA this, MAGA, you know, it's just the worst. So when you get a real taste of actual comments, it was kind of encouraging. So I was watching the unveiling of the statue of Barbara Rose Johns. And here, I could put it in the chat here. Not the chat, in the thingamabobber. Oops. That's an ad. Why is that? Oh, okay, hold on. Wait a second. Where's my eCam? Where is eCam? Here we go. Okay, so they're unveiling the statue. We don't have to watch it. It's a nice statue. Good for her. Good for us, honestly. And because what's it's not a history lesson, and this is what the maggots, when I was reading the comments, as you could see right here, what an absolute joke. This is despicable. Nobody even knows who this is, nor should they. Why would they? Why would they do this? How dare you? How dare you, you filthy maggot? Nobody knows who she is. Well, that's not actually true. But if you don't know who she is, why don't you find out? Why don't you educate yourself? Because you're embarrassing yourself. And it just goes to show you, it's not about, economic insecurity for these maggots. Never was and never will be. They're just racist. They're just too small to want to share and want to share a society. They're too triggered. They're fragile. They don't see diversity as a strength because they're fragile and small. And diversity is a strength. That was the greatness of America. The melting pot, the ability to attract people from all over the world to contribute to what became the American century. But going through their comments, it was watching these totally, of course they'd say totally not racist, America-hating maggots. That's what they are. They just prove again and again and again how much they hate this country. They hate who we are fundamentally. That's why they have to do away with everything that's good. Diversity, don't too woke, don't be woke. Right? What's woke? Woke is, and then before it was woke, it was PC. Just treating people with decency and respect. That's too much. Oh, God. Here we go. Some assholes on the Discord. Democrat Party full of rapists. Really? Says the pedo who votes for a pedo and protects a pedo. Democrat Party. And what's a Democrat Party? Bill Clinton. Oh, God. Can somebody stop these? How do you stop? Bill Clinton and Biden raped and molested kids, says the maggot who voted for a rapist in the Epstein files. There are depositions of victims out there. Read it, Google it, find it, where the victim describes Traitor Trump raping her when she was 13. You disgusting waste of life. Maggots really are, they earn their moniker, and they're vile. They're fucking vile. They will excuse everything. It's Democrat. It's only a crime if a Democrat does it. And if Democrats raped anybody, then they should be held accountable too. This is the difference between normal people and maggots. Maggots are sick. But anyway, let's get back to the statue of Barbara Rose Johns, and the maggots being themselves, which is, unfit and confused about what America is all about. Too small, too racist, too fragile, too ugly, hiding behind the veneer of anonymity. That's what they do, and then they type so tough. And of course, as you can see, you could see right here, all caps. Oh, it's creeps, both pedos. Like they, we found the pedo, and it's you. You're the pedo. You vote for a pedo. You are a pedo. You excuse a pedo. You vote for a pedo, you worship a pedo, you protect a pedo, and you're disgusting. That's why, I gotta get this. How do you block these fucking people? On Discord. I gotta log into Discord to do it. Not Discord. What's the other thing? Twitch. That's what it is. Twitch. Yeah. What a disgrace these people are.
Last year, bro, he started shooting.
Right? They're just so violent and typical. Absolutely typical. Okay. Let's see. Who is Barbara Rose Johns? Never heard of her. Well, look her up, bitch. Look her up. Maybe learn something. Learn that she's not a traitor like Robert E. Lee was, who was educated at West Point and then immediately turned around to fight to keep human beings in bondage. That's what he did. So 500,000 Americans had to be sent to their cold early graves because some conservatives wanted to own other human beings. And if you don't know who she is, that's good. It's a good thing that they're putting a statue up to her, because that might maybe trigger you. I know you like to get triggered by other things like trans for everybody. You like to get triggered by people, I don't know, history, reality, decency, democracy is very triggering to a maggot. Humanity. Oh, but God help you. They want all the benefits. They want it all for themselves. As soon as they start feeling their benefits, their subsidies, their handouts. When they bring nothing to the table, too. That's the other thing. It's like Traitor Trump. He has never done a single thing for anyone. In fact, I will argue he is a detriment to humanity. The whole human race would have been better off if he were never amongst us. He's a waste of human DNA. So, wait, hold on a second. So, same thing with MAGAts. Same thing with MAGAts. Because this is who they empower. They're just as ugly as he is. They're just as hypocritical. They're just as pathetic as he is. You know, they really are. As some of these comments are a testament to. Unbelievable. Biden was a pedo, says the pedo, who voted for a pedo, who's all over the Epstein files, just like Traitor Trump said. He could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and these maggots will never abandon him because they are as vile as he is. They are living vicariously through him. And they are so filled with hate and stupidity that they get off on hurting other people. They don't like America. They don't have the decency to function in a free, democratic, multiracial society. They just don't. So that's why we have to continue to evolve without them. All right, hold on. Guys, this is the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show, but there is more show on the other side. So keep coming back. It works if you work it, so work it, you're worth it. We will win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. Subscribe to my Substack at Tarabuster at Substack.com. Or something like that. Tarabuster at Substack, yeah. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio. I'll see you soon. Okay. Who is Bobby? And look at all these. I mean, they have no. They just have. They bring nothing to the table. Is the point here? Look, here's another one. No clue. I don't know. Oh. So I think this is being maybe sarcastic. It's hard to tell in a text. Oh no. Excuse me. I got it wrong. He writes, no clue. I do know who Robert E. Lee is, though. Oh, because that's why you put up a statue, right? You only put up statues of people you know. because you want to be as lowest common denominator as possible. And with maggots in the South, because they have a very poorly run system of education, they're stupid. They keep voting for people that make their lives worse and cut their lifelines, cut, anything that makes anything good. They just cut, and blame trans people and black people for it, and immigrants in a nation of immigrants. This is how disgusting they are, We're a nation of immigrants, but they hate immigrants. So, cuckoo. You got to be kind of cuckoo. But they wave the flag, right? They're like, yay, America. But they hate America. It's woo. And that's why they vote for a pedo, a con man, a rapist, a convicted felon, piece of dirt, who is all over the Epstein files and is in the process of trying to turn America into an authoritarian dictatorship because, they love America. You see, that's who they are. This is why you have to put them in history's trash bin, where they're comfy, where they belong, with the rest of the fascists. All fascists end up in history's trash bin. Seriously. Okay, so since we've running out of time, I got to tighten these things up. That's what she said, I know. But what I should do, I'm trying to work on it. Maybe I should put a timer up. We do like one story. I'll just get like 4 stories and then we'll just stick to the timer. Because I put so many things on the list and then it goes by so fast, and it really does. I don't know about you, but I hope you enjoy the show at least. For me, I'm like, wow, it's almost over? That was an hour? Where is my list over here? Over here. Over there. Where the fuck is it, man? There we go. Okay, here's the thing I wanted to talk about, which is very disturbing. Very disturbing. But this is, it's in, with everything we're talking about, that MAGAts hate America. Not only do they hate America, they're confused by America. They are, like they talk about freedom and freedom of speech. To them, freedom of speech is calling people the N-word and misgendering somebody, just being a dick, of course. That's freedom, right? They're not free unless they can misgender somebody or call somebody, an ethnic or bigoted slur. That being decent, that's why they were upset back in the day. They called it PC. I'm not politically correct. What was that? Politically correct is just being a good person, being respectful, calling somebody what they want to be called. How hard is that? But that's too much to ask the poor put upon maggots. But God help you if you call them something that they don't want to be called, right? Oh, they will whine and bitch and fart and wheeze. Oh, what about, because they're always so victimized. They're such perpetual victims. Like all fascists are perpetual victims. It's right out of the Nazi playbook. They can't help it. Because they're not, and every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism. That's who they are. They can't help it. And it follows the same pattern all the time because it's a human condition. If only they could get help. Just get help. Go to a shrink. Sit in front of the shrink. No one, you and the shrink. Let it out. Your father called you the F word for gay. He beat you. You hate yourself. You're secretly gay. You're this. You're that. You are secretly trans. You wish you had the courage to be yourself, to live your authentic life. Why? I mean, because there's no other reason. You're hateful. You're just filled with hate because you know you're inadequate. You're unhappy for a myriad of reasons. It's all damaged. All the damage in your youth. And hey, I've been in therapy. I know. I've come a long way. I talk about it on the show. I'm in recovery. I'm not saying this is human life where nobody's perfect. We all have our struggles. I'm just saying it's okay. Get help. The best people in the world are people who've struggled, and they grow from their experience, and they learn, and they see how their experience can help others. Helping other people, actually, it feels good. It's good. That's why Mother Nature made us the way she made us. And if you believe in the sky spook, believe that's how the sky spook made us. To be interconnected, that we feel good when we help somebody else. You feel the same oxytocin chemicals when you give somebody something as when you receive something. That's Mother Nature saying, we're in this together, booby. That's normal. Unlike, Trump doesn't have those things because he's a sociopath. He's damaged and broken. Maybe you're like him too, but I don't know. You're not the pinnacle. You're an outlier, and you're a miserable fuck if that's the case. But anyway, okay. So I'm just saying, get some fucking help, maggots, and maybe then, you will not be so filled with hate, and you won't care about, the pee-pee in the bathroom. What pee-pee's in the bathroom? Is the pee-pee dressed right, according to what you think? I mean, oh my God, leave trans people alone, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. Just like the Nazis. That's the other thing. I'm so tired with them going after trans people and the Democrats jumping on board when it's politically convenient. Or saying nothing. The Nazis started with trans people too. It's our patriotic duty to stand up for the underdog, for the misunderstood, right? Fuck. And trust me on this. This will not age well in history's light. You're not on the right side of anything here. Humanity, decency, dignity. No. The future, when the future looks back, Republicans will be reviled as the disgusting Nazis that they are, as the bigots, as the hate-mongering, horrible bigots that they are, going after trans people like this. Trans kids, families, freedom. Keep your filthy, fascist, Republican nose out of a family's business. Oh, but we have to hear these Dr. Oz and these freaks talk about how much a penis costs, a testicle, throw the testicles in for how much. I mean, shut the fuck up. He knows better. You know he does, but he's a dirtbag like the rest of the maggot, kicking down on less than 1% of the population, sticking his filthy fascist nose into people's business. No child has a gender reassignment surgery, and that's why they are these assholes. They're just liars. But they know how it triggers the maggots when you talk about peepees. They're so obsessed with people's peepees. It's like, think about your own peepee. Leave everybody alone. That's freedom. You know what I mean? See, have I ever been wrong when I say about these monsters that it takes a level of maturity to function in a free democratic society, a maturity that they just don't have. Most human beings evolve. We grow up out of the pee-pee obsessed phase. I think it happens around age 3. Like me, I look at my pee-pee. Maggots, that's all they care about is your pee-pee. Who's in the pee-pee? Is the pee-pee in the right bathroom? Is the pee-pee in the right pants? Is the pee-pee in the right... Fucking pricks. These people wouldn't know freedom and decency and courage. And you guess what? All of your hatred against trans people, they're not going away. Trans people are here, and they're human beings, you pricks. So let me ask you, maggots, why do men have nipples? Why? Oh, because you know why? Every human being is born from a female template, so to speak. And at a certain point in gestation, chemicals, hormones come out, whatever. I don't know. I'm dumbing it down for you. I'm not a doctor, but I do know some things because I'm not a moron. I don't get my news from memes. I didn't graduate from meme university. But what happens is then a child, a fetus in the womb might be female, might be male. It depends on the chemical reaction that happens. So it does make sense that somewhere along the line, maybe, there might be a mix-up or, so because your brain, your gender identity is not in your pee-pee, it's in your brain. So it does make sense that someone could be born with maybe the brain of a female and the pee-pee of a male, or vice versa. That's how it happens. So to say that a man cannot be a woman and a woman cannot be a man, and it's just you're just not telling the truth at all. That's a social construct. It has nothing to do with science or medicine or humanity. And as human beings who are interdependent and give a shit about each other, we should be able to help somebody. If they're if they're having gender dysphoria, then, and we have the means to make that better, we have a fucking duty to do so. As humans, as decent human beings, and that's it, and leave it at that. It's none of our business. Leave people alone. If you don't understand that, I mean, that's the dumbed down version of a man cannot be a man, a woman cannot be a man, or whatever. That's bullshit. Because it's all in your fucking mind anyway. It's not in your pee-pee. So what happens when a soldier gets his genitals blown off in a bomb, which happens? So he's no longer a man? He's all of a sudden a woman? You fucking morons. Oh, I can't take them. Okay, here's the story. I just can't take them. They're just so horrible. And I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of them not giving that a shit that they won't be reviled in history either. You're not on the right side of this. On anything. Okay. You would think they would get tired of it, so, right? They would be tired of being wrong and horrible. But no. Okay, here's this story that I came across that says it all. You know, how maggots are the enemies of the people. This is a cop who, after Charlie Kirk was murdered, he posted something on social media. An ex-cop. He spent 37 days in jail for sharing this meme. Where, can you see it? Oh no, hold on. That's the meme over here. It looks like a little ad in the corner. He shared a meme. We have to get over it. It was Traitor Trump's words, his own words, after another school shooting, Perry High School mass shooting. and he posted this meme, and the sheriff in this Tennessee town, this Tennessee, freedom-loving sheriff came and, well, let's watch this video, actually. I have a video about it. I know, it takes me a minute to get everything. That's why it's a perfect opportunity to go and become a patron at patreon.com/Tarabuster, but also subscribe to my Substack. Here we go. So someone put this together and they put music on it. So don't blame me. All right, I'll read the thing. It says, because for people listening audio only, it's a picture. It's a body cam footage inside a police vehicle. September 2025, a Facebook group in Perry County, Tennessee, promoted a vigil after Charlie Kirk's murder. Okay. On that post, 61-year-old retired police officer Larry Bushart commented with a meme of Donald Trump. Traitor Donald Trump, the pedophile.
Mr. Larry that lives here? I had spoken with a Perry County investigator. They wanted me to come speak to him about something. So I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I have really no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, the cops were confused, too.
They said that there was some concerning posts that were made on Facebook. On Facebook.
Concerning.
And they said you guys...
They did. I don't know exactly what they're referring to.
Oh, I do. Charlie Kirk.
Well,
they don't. Why they put that music
something
on?
was insinuating violence.
No, it wasn't.
See, he says something was insinuating violence. It's very loud. Maybe I shouldn't play the whole thing, but...
I'm not going to take it down. Go look.
So he says, I'm not taking it down. So this sheriff of this Tennessee town, this guy posted this meme, "We have to get over it," Trump's words about a school shooting in another town called Perry. And the sheriff sent a cop to this guy's house to tell him to take the post down. Okay? And the guy said, I'm not taking it down. And then the cop left. This is a good use of taxpayer money. You know how these MAGAts are all like, taxpayer money. My taxpayers' money shouldn't go to trans people or anyone, or a hungry person, or a sick person, or anybody but me or Trump, right? It should only go to Trump, Musk, Bezos. But not anybody who actually needs it. So he took the cop left, and then I guess the sheriff wasn't satisfied with abusing his power enough. So he went further. After he said he wouldn't take down the post, what he did was he went to a judge and he had a warrant put out for this guy's arrest for a Facebook post. The cops are there knocking on the door.
Yes.
So Perry County has called back again, okay? And they've ended up issuing a warrant for you, okay? So you're gonna have to come with us.
You can believe this shit?
It's booked in, we'll get all this figured out. And then you'll have to take it up with them in their court, okay?
For putting a Facebook post up of Traitor Trump's own words. We have to get over it.
Okay.
And he thinks that it's just, freedom of speech,
It is freedom of speech. And the guy's walking away. Okay, and then this judge in this Maggot County put the guy's bail at $2 million. Okay? And because it was so high, he ended up spending 37 days in jail for the Facebook post. And what happened was he said that he was inciting violence because, and it's really a twisted story, and this is what MAGAts do. They abuse their power. The MAGAts have never held power that they didn't abuse. Please prove me wrong. So he says, what happened was, he said, we have to get over it. And that's when Traitor Trump said, after a school shooting in Perry High School in Iowa. Okay? Well, the sheriff concocted this pretext against the man, Bouchard, by saying that there's a Perry High School in Iowa. Okay? I mean, excuse me. It's a little convoluted. So the post that he put up was about Perry High School in Iowa. But there's also a Perry County High School in Tennessee. So this maggot sheriff said that Larry Bouchard was threatening Perry County High School in Tennessee. That because he posted a meme that Traitor Trump's own words after Perry High School shooting in Iowa, what he was doing was threatening a mass shooting in Perry County High School, Tennessee. If that's not convoluted, I don't know what is, but this is maggot land, and they're abusing their power. As always, this is what they do. That's why they get in power. They're not in it for altruism. They're not in it to make the world better or make their county or their communities better or their country better. They want to, what's in it for them? How can they put people in their place? How can they show people who they are? They're big men. How can they put everybody in their place? Especially somebody that has the nerve to post a meme of Traitor Trump's own words in the sacred Charlie Kirk Memorial Facebook page, where in this country, the land of the free, where maggots, they're very, they're so free speech, right? I thought Elon Musk was such a free speech absolutist, and they all were like, yeah, free speech. When what they're really talking about is the freedom to be an asshole, the freedom to misgender somebody, to treat somebody like shit, to call somebody the N-word, to be a dick, to be an asshole, without anybody having anything to say about it. But when it comes to actual freedom, if they don't like your freedom, they don't like, freedom is you're only free in the constraints that they lay out for you. We're talking about fascism here. We're talking about people who are fascists. Yes, they are. And this is another example. And every Republican just beats the heart of fascism. Here's another example here's living proof yet again. This man had a job. He was a cop at one point, but he was retired. And he was working a retirement job. He lost that job because he couldn't go for 37 days. He was in prison, in jail for 37 days. Even as we watched the body cam footage, which I know was a little annoying, I couldn't find a clean example of it without that music. It was a little loud on the body cam footage, but even the cop didn't know what the hell was going on. He's like, I have no idea. He said, I have to be completely honest. I really have no idea what they're talking about. He said he just called me and said there were some concerning posts that you made. And he said, I don't know. They just said there was something insinuating violence, which is bullshit. absolute bullshit. It's not insinuating violence at all. So that's why they had to make these loose, bullshit, convoluted connections between Iowa, who just happened to be Perry County High School or Perry High School in Iowa, happened to have a similar name to Perry County High School in Tennessee. And because Traitor Trump was talking about a school shooting, that means this man who posted on the Charlie Kirk page, we have to get over it, was threatening a violence against Perry County High School. Which these people, how they look at themselves in the mirror is beyond me. And I bet you, I'm trying to find, where's the guy's name? This sheriff. He's probably a Christian. What do you want to bet? Sheriff Nick Weems. Weems, Weems. Sheriff Nick Weems. Well, yeah, I'm sure he's a Christian. He goes to church every Sunday. He bends the knee to his Lord and Savior Jesus H. Christ, who he would crucify again if he ever came back. You know he would. You know that all that woke shit, talking all that woke nonsense about loving thy neighbor and turning the other cheek and all that giving your money away and following him. What is he, Mondami? I mean, Donald Trump Jr. said, where's that turning the other cheek ever gotten us? That's what Donald Trump Jr. said. That's their new god, their new golden calf. They hate Jesus, just like they hate America. They're confused about Jesus, just like they're confused about America. Read The Separation of Church and Hate. John Fugelsang's amazing and pertinent book. It's time to reclaim. It's time to take Jesus back from the MAGAts who abuse him so mercilessly. They might as well be, the Romans whipping him at the Stations of the Cross. Right? For real. Because they abuse him too. They abuse his name. They abuse his teachings. They abuse everyone that he said not to abuse. Suffer the little children. Well, look at Trump. He's in the Epstein files. Jesus didn't say rape the little children, did he? Oh, well, Megyn Kelly says that's just barely legal, not pedo. It's not 4 or 5. It's somebody who's 13, 14, 15. Well, you know what, Megan and the asshole on the chat and Traitor Trump and all the other MAGAts? What's the difference between a child of 4 and a child of 15? They're still children. There's no difference. They're still under that umbrella called children. And a 50-year-old dirtbag who's married, not a couple of playboys, by the way. If they were playboys, you don't hang around with 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-olds. Playboys. They're pedos. That's not a playboy. You don't see James Bond. James Bond is a playboy. He's not hanging out with fucking 14-year-olds. Who wants to hang out with 14-year-olds? But pedos. You're talking about a married man in his 50s hanging out with a prolific and convicted pedo, being a pedo. He's a pedo. And they're making excuses for it. But okay, let's continue with this story. They're just disgusting. I wish I was wrong. I wish they were the Christians they pretend to be. I really do. But Sheriff Nick Weems goes to church and he says, I'm a Christian. I hope that Larry Burchart's 37 days in jail, I hope that they end up being the best 37 days he ever spent, because he's suing the shit out of this county, and he's also suing Sheriff Nick Weems personally. So, good. So, with the help of something called the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, Larry filed a civil rights lawsuit, which he's got every right to, and he's gonna win. He will win, because there's no way, shape, or form in any way that you could twist this, that justification for arresting that man is legitimate. Arresting him, putting him behind bars with a $2 million bail, where he just turns his life upside down because he posted something that they didn't like about the sainted racist Charlie Kirk. We talked about it last week. We talked about it when it all happened. When a kindergarten teacher lost her job because she posted on social media the very words that came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth with no comment, just the words. And she lost her job. Something vile, Charlie Kirk. Because that's what he was. He was a racist. He was a disgusting, filthy racist. He wasn't some, what a great debater. He was just another clickbaity troll. So, yeah, and the lawyers at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression said that, let's see, if police can come to your door in the middle of the night and put you behind bars based on nothing more than an entirely false and contrived interpretation of a Facebook post, then no one's First Amendment rights are safe. Who agrees with that? And these are the MAGAs that are like, freedom, freedom, freedom. We're free speech absolutists. If only. We're not asking for, because everything has to have limits on it. That's the other thing that MAGAs don't understand. They're like children. They're, America's way over their heads, and they don't understand. They talk about free speech absolutists. Well, that's not really healthy for society. You have to have some limits. Like, you don't want to go around saying the N-word and things, because that's upsetting and it's degrading and it is divisive to society. And so therefore it's not healthy for us to do that. So we want to put things like that. We want to put a limit on that. Say it, go behind closed doors with your maggot friends and do that. But not in the town square, not in the virtual town square either. That used to be the case. Because there's a public good element to society, right? This is something MAGAs don't understand. But the real issue is that it is because they are perpetually emotionally stunted infants who want all the benefits of civilization. They just don't want any of the responsibilities that we have to each other. Because they're just not fit. And there is the music. Unreal, right? What a week. What a world. What a world. What are we gonna do? Well, I'll tell you what. We will win. We will win. We will. Because, let me lower that a little, because we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Check out Charlie's APS Radio and APS Radio News. Thank you, guys. Become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Thank you, Charlie, for all you do to make the world a better place. And for the community cats that you help. Thank you so much, Charlie. And thank you. Thank you, patrons. Become a patron at patreon.com. Do me a favor and and subscribe to my Substack. Okay, guys? I'm not asking for much. Am I? Am I asking for much? I would like my Substack to be something, because I'm spending more of my time on Substack. I only go on Twitter to grab videos and things, because if I go there, it's poison. It's disgusting there. So, yeah. So subscribe to the subby stack and the Political Voices Network Substack, and we will have because Tarabuster is on Tuesdays on the Political Voices Network. Hold on, where's my Substack? And then it's going to pick up around after the new year, because we're going to get more guests. Right? That's right. Joseph Winnie 802 on the chat. Nice, Tara. Responsibility. Your response according to ability. Help another. Exactly. Help each other. We're in this together. And we do need help. And that's, when I love, to say love. Do I love? FDR is the greatest modern president that we've had. We still live in his country, thankfully. They're destroying it, of course, but he had a good heart. He was born in privilege, but when he got polio, he contracted polio, it was not what changed him completely, but it definitely put a fire under his ass about getting the New Deal policies enacted. If I remember reading about it in the Traitor to his class and other books I've read, where he said that you just need help sometimes. This is it. This is the nature of humanity. No one ever in the history of humanity has gotten by on their own. We all need each other. We need to help each other. Not a single person ever born has ever done it alone. So, and especially if you get sick, we need each other. And, that's how we were made. We're supposed to help each other. And thank you, JD Christie, for your super chat and your very nice little cat emoji. That looks like little Ray Ray. All right, my friends, listen. Thank you for hanging out. And I will be back on Tuesday on another Tarabuster, but I'm going to do more, videos and whatnot. And thank you, Redfoot, for being our moderator tonight, our sole moderator in the chat room, because Jim has some network problems, and hopefully they'll be fixed by Tuesday. And Redfoot says, yes, exactly. Don't like socialism? You'll have to turn off your power, your water, and sewer then, and refuse help from the police and the fire department. No driving public roads. No taking your kids to school. It's so true. That's what gets me with these MAGAts. And oh God, you know what? Sometimes when I'm watching YouTube just during the day, getting my work done and just have like, videos going in the corner here. And I love watching the sovereign citizen videos where they break the windows of the sovereign citizen. Like a sovereign citizen gets pulled over and they end up, because they're such assholes. It's so funny to watch them like act like an asshole. And then the cops end up like pulling them out of the car, breaking their window. It's very satisfying because they're just fucking delusional. You know what I mean? They really are. Because, they're like, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. They think that traveling is all right. Travel on your feet. Driving is a privilege that you have to have a license for, and you got to show it on our public roads. Traveling, they're maggoty. This is so maggot stupidity. Like libertarianism they're so dumb. Libertarianism is another thing that's concocted out of a 15-year-old boy's mind. Very tiny mind. All right, my loves. Yes. So, next week is Christmas. After Christmas, I forgot about that the show, because we will do a Saturnalia show. So I guess we'll do Saturnalia on Friday. I'll probably have a show on Friday. Yeah, I'll have a show. There'll be no Anti-Fascist Book Club on Friday, but there'll be a Tarabuster on Friday. Yes. But yeah, they're sovereign citizen, as Grumpy says on the chat. Sovereign citizens are oddballs. They are. And they're funny and tedious. They're just tedious. And it is satisfying. You could just Google it on YouTube. You could find so many videos of them getting pulled over or them getting, hauled into jail, like the judges having to deal with them and their bullshit. Yes, thank you, Errol. You're remembering my birthday. Yes, my birthday is the 27th of December, 2 days after Christmas. So we will. Wait, is that? Hold on a second. When is my birthday? Oh, yeah, it's Saturday, not Friday. 2 days. Yeah, Christmas is on Thursday. All right. All right, my friends. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you, Sparklers, for rating. Thank you, guys. It was fun. It always is fun. Tell Hal I'll see him soon. Hopefully he'll book me. It's been a while. No, they were just getting back up to speed. So that's right. And I don't know how the law enforcement puts up with them. As John says on the chat, sovereign cits just want to waste law enforcement time. As soon as they encounter the law enforcement, sometimes I don't know how the cops do it. They have a lot of patience. But then comes the window smash, and it's very satisfying. All right. Thank you. Yes, Hal sent us. Yes, that's the best. And hopefully I'll be on Hal's show soon. I don't know. Probably after the new year. Get back into the swing of things. I got to get in touch with Andrea. She'll, and then Tarabuster will have guests. More guests. Yes. Capricorn. That's right. Ben a Rex. I'm a Cappy. You know what they say about Capricorns. We never... What do they say? I had an ex-girlfriend that used to say Capricorns never fail. Something like that. Because we always... Well, it's the goat. We climb. We'll never give up. Just keep climbing. It's true. And here I am. Never giving up. Still saying, please become a patron. It's so true. That's right. Surrender Monkey says, you know, I celebrate my birthday every day just in case I'm too drunk to remember what day it is. That's a good philosophy. I don't drink, so I can't go back there. All right, my loves. Thank you for hanging out. And I really appreciate everything you are and do. And, you know, I can't do it without you. You keep me going. You keep me halfway sane. And, yes, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Arrow. Merry Christmas to the producer, Francis, Ray, Boudica, and Spooky. Exactly. I should get Spooky out here. You want me to go get Spooky? Just to say hello to everybody. Let me see. Do I have a video to play? I can play a video and go get Spooky. Oh, this is, you know, the show after the show, I guess. Do I have a video? I don't want to play something. Oh no, I don't want to play that. Jesus Christ. Well, I could play Traitor Trump's ad, I guess. All right. Hold on. Where is it? Jesus, help us. Boop, boo, doo, doo. Where is it? Damn it. Oh, I'm not on the right screen. That's why. I gotta be here. And then I gotta go like this. So many things to do when you're doing a show. Here we go. Oh God, I'm sorry. I know I have to do this to you, but I apologize in advance.
Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. I am bringing those high prices down very fast. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Wages are rising much faster than inflation. Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government. I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this...
Oh, no. And much of it is a lie. Not much, all. All of that was a lie, everybody. He's just a needy, thirsty bitch. And this is Spooky. Everybody, hello. Isn't he adorable? He's adorable. Say hello, everybody. Hello. That's my little spookaroo. All right. Was it worth the wait? I know. Here we go. Squeak into the camera. I mean, into the mic. All right, honey. Look how good he is. Spookaroo. Look at that face. He's just a big ball of cuteness. Right? All right, guys. That's a little Christmas gift. He's a guinea pig. He was abandoned. Some waste of human DNA abandoned him. So I didn't expect to have a guinea pig, but I took him home and he was living his best life. He and Boudica are buddies. They're all buddies. And Ray. I put them in the windowsill sometimes and they eat their leaves together. And all right, my love. That'll be it. Okay, guys. I will see you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for indulging me. Thank you, Spooky, for hanging out with me on the mic for a second. You hear him? And I will see you guys on Tuesday. I'll see you soon. And if I don't see you on Tuesday, Merry Christmas, and I will see you Friday. All right. Follow my Substack. Follow my stuff. See you soon. Thank you, Charlie. A little spooky.